Earlier today, a Boeing 737 crashed in South Korea. 179 people were killed, and 2 crew members survived. In Canada, an Air Canada plane caught fire after an emergency landing. Fortunately, no one was killed. What is going on? All day, rescuers searched the area near the crash site for the bodies of the victims. At the same time, soldiers searched the bushes and fields around the airport. In addition to the emergency services, the acting president, the current prime minister, arrived at the scene of the tragedy and personally directed the crisis staff. I would like to express my deepest condolences to those who have lost loved ones. I am very sorry and want to console all the families. As the head of the government, responsible for the safety and lives of our people, I feel indescribable sorrow and deep regret. The distraught families of the passengers gathered in the waiting room at Muan International Airport as they waited for an update of the casualty list. Relatives wept loudly as the names of those identified were read out. 2 people were pulled from the wreckage alive. They are members of the cabin crew who were probably in the tail of the machine. According to experts, the fateful wall on which the South Korean plane crashed should not have been near the runway.
At this moment, we don't have all the data, obviously, but there appears to be, number one, a bird strike. There are images of allegedly a bird strike on this aircraft just prior to landing. It appears to have impacted the right engines. If they were going to make an emergency landing with the undercarriage up, why didn't the fire tenders lay foam on the runway? Why weren't they in attendance when the plane touched down? And why did the aircraft touch down so far down the runway that it had no chance of stopping before it exited the runway? And why was there a brick wall at the end of the runway? So there's a whole series of questions that beg answers. It should never have a wall anywhere near the runway.
The Korean Air Safety Commission is investigating the crash. It is investigating all possible causes, but for now, it does not want to pass judgment and is appealing for patience. As for whether all procedures were followed, we can see everything in the video. However, the exact extent of the action, the timing and details must be thoroughly investigated. The South Korean public is in shock. This is the most tragic plane crash since 1997. I feel very sorry for the families of the victims. Their suffering is unimaginable. I'm afraid that with what's going on in the country, I'm worried that we may not know the real cause of the crash. Meanwhile, dramatic scenes also unfolded in Canada last night. During an emergency landing at Halifax Airport, part of the plane caught fire. Local emergency services rushed to the aid of the crew and passengers. Fortunately, in this case, the participants in the incident were not injured.